What's good, boys? It's currently 9:30 p.m. Way later than my usual bedtime, but should have recorded this video earlier. And now I'm literally gonna suffer the consequences of my actions. It's usually in moments like these where you find excuses like, oh, let me go to sleep. Let me optimize sleep because that's smarter. Let me do what's best for me, and you kind of lie to yourself, but in reality, it's way better for your character and discipline to just be like, dude, I'm gonna eat the consequences of my actions and be self-accountable. Maybe I'll get an hour less sleep but for tomorrow. Maybe I'll be more tired, but guess what? I'll at least be eating my own consequences instead of putting the work aside another day. Because you're also creating the person who's putting the work aside. And for you, although you might think, dude, I'm being smart right now, like sleep is the best thing I can do, and you might be able to sleep well with that, but your subconscious understands. And the next time it's gonna hit you the same way. Dude, like sleep's more important, just put the work aside. Today, what I want to share with you guys is observation skills. And this is a skill that isn't highlighted enough, but usually when I go to restaurants, when I go to supermarkets, especially when I go there to, I don't know, get my chicken or, I like to observe people, and not in a cringe or weird way, but look at what people have in their basket, look at what they're buying, and then look at them. And it's like, I used to be the person who felt super, super bad for people who were overweight, people who were maybe insecure, etc., stuff like that. But the more time has passed and the more I put time and effort analyzing people's circumstances and why they got there, the more it makes sense that they are in the position they are in now. Yesterday, I was literally getting chicken and soy sauce, right? And I decided to go to the checkout through the candy aisle, right? And the people I see there compared to the egg section, the section where you buy eggs, is like, I see the difference in people. You can clearly see it's like a different city almost. It's crazy. But I'm like, dude, you're fat and you're still buying some shit food to eat. And of course somebody might be like, dude, but eating disorders exist and this might exist and this might exist. And I have had girlfriends, I've had people who I put a lot of value in at the time who had struggles with that. I understand that it's a real problem. But every action you have has an implication. No matter how bad you feel, no matter how much you feel like the life should have mercy on you, the actions you take will directly influence the outcome of your life. Okay? The fat person who feels insecure and can't wear a bikini during the summer, who still eats the snacks and feels bad about themselves, no mercy is gonna come for you. And I still catch myself at times having the weak mindset of thinking, oh, like, I haven't made the money I want, and I don't go party, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of these, but I still haven't, I'm studying harder than everybody, but I'm still not making the money. I still catch a part of me wanting to think that way. And I'm like, dude, nobody's gonna come for me realistically. Nobody ever is gonna care about my life as much as I can, okay? So you can either shut up and accept the consequences and accept that, dude, you haven't done nearly enough for you to get the consequences, even if you deserve the money, even if you deserve what you want, but you still don't have it, you still haven't lost the weight, you still don't look good. Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody's gonna care about your life, even your parents. I promise you, dude. I used to think that I can never fail school and nothing can ever happen to me because, I was born in a blessed family and people care about me and everybody's gonna bail me out. That's, y'all have probably heard the quote that goes, men have two lives and the second one starts when they realize they only have one. And there was another quote that goes, nobody's gonna save you, stuff like that, right? Y'all have heard it. It's almost like cringe to say it out loud, to be honest, because it's like you see it in every post, but stop feeling bad for yourself. Nobody has mercy for you. Nobody ever cares about your life half as much as I do. Sorry, nobody cares about your life half as much as you do. And I was thinking about myself when saying that. Although I make these videos to kind of transfer my energy to you guys so you can kind of understand, apply the lessons that I learned to your lives, if the random person watching me right now in this moment, literally looking me in the eyes, happens to not go to the gym tomorrow, and then start overeating, and then start getting fat, and hating himself, and being suicidal, of course it's a terrible thing to think about, but realistically, nothing about my life's gonna change. The person watching this right now can genuinely be like, fuck, he's right, and get rich in the next 5 years. That still isn't gonna change my life. Nobody cares about you. You're not there's literally 8 billion people on the planet. And if you still think you're special, it's nothing to say to you. And I understand. I used to be this fragile little boy who grew up with all these Disney movies and who thought that life is, you'll get bailed out of negative circumstances and you'll get what you deserve, right? But the more you grow up, then the more you kind of take self-accountability and push yourself towards the hard circumstances and grow, the more you understand that's not how life works. And something else I wanted to mention is, at times when you catch yourself getting really mad at small circumstances or getting really small things get to you. Maybe you're sitting in traffic and this dude made a hand sign or something like that, and you're like, fuck, it genuinely pisses you off. Or some just small things get to you. It's because one of the big reasons being the problems you have in life are not big enough. And now there's two ways to perceive that. That does not mean that you don't, by problems, I'm not talking about stuff like having health problems or having something that's going to destroy you, because people who have genuine problems, and I'm talking about genuine problems. I'm not talking about the fact that your girl broke up with you. I'm talking about the fact that you might have stage 4 cancer that you found out about last week and you have a couple of months to live. Because there's someone who found the news of, there's someone maybe your age, I don't know how old you are watching this, 15, 30, 50, who cares? Your age who found out that they have a medical condition and they're gonna die soon. And if that doesn't motivate you, the fact that your life is only one phone call away from changing completely, and that doesn't scare you, and that doesn't make you act and prepare yourself mentally and physically for anything that can happen, you're literally a lost cause. There's not one day passes by where I don't think about the fact that, dude, literally tomorrow I could feel something in my back, let the doctor check it out, and they say, dude, you have fucking stage 4 skin cancer. Can happen to everybody. You watching this, the person who's not watching this, who cares? But you have to be, as a human, absolutely, especially as a man, ready to conquer any problem possible. Even if stuff like, dude, people put so much trust in government, right? But even stuff like hyperinflation. If all the money you invested into bonds or treasuries or whatever, for the people who might not know what it is because they don't invest or anything, it's fine. Just basically, the fact that you could go broke, and you wouldn't be able to. There's a version, or there's a possibility where you cannot afford rent anymore, should scare the fuck out of you. The fact that you could get into a car and get a car crash tomorrow, lose both your legs, and be absolutely lost in life, maybe even be turned suicidal, should scare you. And you might be like, well, how do I prepare for that? It's unknown. Come on now, it could happen to everybody. Yes, I understand, but you have to be ready for any circumstance that happens, whether it's financial, whether it's, most importantly, mental and physical. You have to be the person who can take and absorb what happens to him and deal with that, rather than breaking. So coming back to small problems, if you're getting pissed off at small problems, your bubble is too small. Imagine this. Imagine you live in a bubble, and this contains, your 1 hour of chess time a day, and your 1 hour of gym, and you're in your small bubble, not experiencing anything, and then a problem appears. And the problem happens to be like this. It's not that big when you look at it like this, but your bubble is, in comparison to your bubble, it covers half of your bubble, right? That's gonna make you obviously make it perceive, because your perspective is so narrow that the small things seem so big. Does that make sense? Whereas if you're already, for example, I'm building a business and you're dealing with an issue with this client, and you're actually having big actually have big problems, and then you're sitting in traffic and something bad might happen to you, or some guy might flick you off, you might be like, dude, like, who cares? Like, how can you take this shit so seriously? There's so much more stuff to take. There's so much more important stuff in life. That's because your bubble has expanded so much that the problem, compared to the big boys, the big problems that you have, the small little bubble, who gives a fuck about that, right? So my advice to you is prepare mentally. Push yourself through physical practices, work out extremely hard, but only also master your mind. Meditation is free. You don't have to, and you might be like, I don't have time because I work 4 hours a day and I study and so everybody has 20 minutes a day. You don't have 20 minutes a day? Worst case, you sleep 20 minutes less. Who gives a fuck about that? What's your screen time? Most people are like, I don't have time. And I'm like, and I ask them, what's your screen time? 6.5 hours. Doing what? Instagram. And I understand because I was that person. That's why I'm able to talk with such conviction. Because I understand how it is, and it pisses me off to think about the fact that the younger version of me might be watching this, or somebody who's currently in my situation, in the situation that I was in, is watching this, and it's like get a grip, like finally, like understand that you have to do it. You don't have another choice. You don't have to wait for. Are you waiting for something horrible to happen to you for you to change your life? Do you need a family member to die for you to finally be like, fuck, like, what am I doing? As a man, you don't change ever unless something horrible happens to you, right? No man who has a happy life, who's satisfied with the way he is, etc., will decide to all of a sudden go through the hard journey of losing 50 kilos and actually get lean. Only once that girl breaks up with you and then sleeps with another guy, and then you're like, dude, fuck, like, you know, that's how men work, not women. That's why the videos I make are specifically for men. If it helps women watching this, great. But I know how men work, and I know that women do not work with the same level of... the fear factor sometimes messes women's emotions up, okay? Nothing personal about women, regarding women, just the way it is, right? So, adapt problems in your life, adapt goals, adapt a purpose. There's a reason that the mom who stays at home the whole day and kind of realizes that her kid didn't eat her lunch during school, gets absolutely mad and is like, oh dude, like she didn't eat the whole day and she's probably starving now and this is impossible. And the dad comes home, maybe he had a stressful day at work, he's like, she'll be fine. Come on. The reason is because their pain threshold is different, because their bubble is different. The man is used to, or, you know, man or woman, it doesn't matter in this case, but I'm just because it's an example, the dad might be used to, you know, dealing with so many more harder problems, whereas the mom, all she did is maybe clean, or, you know, you all understand me, right? Widen your bubble, extend your bubble to a point where little problems appearing in comparison are so small that you're like, dude, fuck you, who gives a fuck? I'll deal with that. Life is about building yourself to be the man who you can be, and everybody can be that. If you're listening to a video and you're like, oh, it doesn't hit me, like, it's not for me, man, like, I don't wake up early, it's not the type of man I am. You can build yourself into that. I don't think I've shown y'all the pictures of me like literally 2 years ago, but I will. I'm making a presentation for you guys. For you guys to be able to have literally, I don't want to spoil too much, but 40 minutes of free value. And basically where I'm going with this is, I've been there and I understand how it goes. I understand how you're like, dude, it's not me, I'm skinny, and you know, it's just not the type of person I am. But the more you work on yourself, the more you hope, and the more you take a step forward at a time, just take a step forward at a time, you'll be fine, I promise. But don't expect it to be easy, because it never will be. Take care, boys.